Welcome, everybody, to Den XL here, episode 146. I'm your host, Ricky. With me, as always, is Dennis.
We're pretty close to 150.
Yeah, we are close to 150.
Yeah.
What does that get us?
I don't know. Money, please?
Yeah, like and subscribe, Patreon, DenX Media. Patreon.com/DenX Media.
I love it. That was shameless.
That's shameless, just like the movie we watched this week. It's the segue. Blade. Deadpool and Wolverine has this at his height for some more Wesley, and we decided to go back into the well and revisit the Blade. So we already did Blade 2, and this week we're doing Blade 1, and next week we do the Trinity.
We'll make a playlist. But yes, Blade 2, if you remember correctly, we watched that one like a year and a half ago because that's like, honestly, that's my favorite of the three Blades. It's Guillermo del Toro, one of his first big American movies. It's a great movie. I love it. But yeah, we had to go back because of reasons that have been probably discussed all summer long. And we're going to hit 1 and 2, but we brought people along for the ride. So we need to bring out our guest, Travis.
Woody.
So Travis,
how you doing?
Welcome back. We're excited because this is kind of a makeup for a couple weeks ago. Like
on the
rewatch, on the rewatch of the Fox universe, you were kind enough to join us for both Deadpool 1 and 2, and we were teeing that up all summer long. That was the plan. And it didn't work out. You had some flight issues and weird.
I had.
So we did the show anyways. But I kind of consider this a makeup because.
Okay. All right.
Who would have known? Who would have known?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, you're welcome to tell us what you felt about that movie. Like I was asked by our mutual friend
what I felt. Oh.
Yeah, you tell us. You tell us what you felt.
Like when your boy comes up, right? Like, when someone that you knew back in the day, really makes good, right? And they either come back to the neighborhood or you see him out and about and you be like, damn. You did the thing. Just Deadpool just is one of us. He's us in a costume. And his powers are fitting, right? Because he could kick your ass and you can never kill him. And when you're like a young kid, right? And you're playing like superhero and someone says, hey, I killed you, and you go, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. If you're Deadpool, look, dude, I'm never dying, right?
Yeah.
And I'm here to just crack wise the entire time. So this movie was so aware of what the MCU was, what Fox was, what the fans is, the whole time it was like a warm hug saying, you know what, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. and I appreciated that more so than anything else. Is that it was like all that time you spent reading comics, Travis, all that time you spent in make believe. We feel you.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed.
Like a palate cleanser.
I think it was
the ultimate one.
I think it was some of the greatest fan service ever done.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad thing though either.
What's wrong with fan service? Yeah. And when people say that, I get mad. Like you should serve your fans. They're the ones who pay your bills. They're the ones who buy your stuff, man. Service the fans, and so me looking at that movie, looking over at my lady saying that's a cover of an X-Men comic book. That's a cover of an X-Men comic book. Like these scenes are classic scenes. So, to her, she was just like, oh, this is neat, and for me, I was like, yo. it's gonna be all right. It's
Yeah.
gonna be all right. And so that's so more so than anything else as far as Deadpool was concerned, like, you know, down to the end, you know, like to your 90.
Till you're 90. Till you're 90. Yeah. I
Like
do think, yeah. I think it was a really fun movie. I think it was a great love letter to every fan of Wolverine that's ever existed on this planet, because they understood, they hugged us and said, we know how we did you for the last 24 years. We know we did you wrong, but you and I learned something great on the journey, which is that
Yeah.
somehow Hugh Jackman is the best thing that ever happened to this character.
Please believe that.
Even if he's not the right height, even if he's not
For
Canadian,
real, because you see what happens when you get the comic book height Wolverine. You're like, oh,
yeah.
I
And so
don't.
so they basically made a movie that said, let us celebrate our love of Hugh Jackman and your love of Wolverine, and that's what we got.
Yeah.
And I think that was a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I think it is a establishing a small little bit of status quo while poking fun out of it. It's great at doing that. My only gripe with this movie is I think the Deadpool story itself kind of got put a little bit more to the back burner than usual. And to that effect, I didn't get a Colossus to really entertain me. I didn't get a Negasonic Teenage Warhead to entertain me, and I love that supporting cast so much from the previous two movies. I was missing Dopinder but that's it. Like, other than that, I really love this movie, and I think it's a beautiful gift to us,
I think that but see that's the thing, right? Is that it seemed like to me this movie was about him saying, I have a higher purpose.
Yes,
Right.
he's Marvel Jesus. Yes.
He's Marvel Jesus, right?
And so he
And
has
the
to
thing
let his
about
disciples,
and so he's like, look, I'll play with y'all later, because please believe
you're coming
Deadpool
with
ain't
us.
going
That's
nowhere.
the whole point of the
no
movie is
one in the movie
you're
going
coming with
anywhere.
us. Yeah.
You know, so yeah, if if that don't convince you, I bet $1 billion does. So
Yeah.
so anyways, my point is to say it was like his his love, his basically the love of his life is basically saying, like, you're bigger than this. You're bigger than this. Now I don't want you until you get bigger than this, right? And so that's exactly what he did. And so that so it's always like the true like story is almost like the parentheses of every Deadpool movie, like because in between that the meat is the silly, right? It really is. But but at the end you're like, that shit was touching, bruh. Like, for real. Like, and I got emotional. I did.
Yeah. When we get
especially
to
when Wolverine was like, go do your thing, like, you the man, and to me, and I don't know about y'all, but that scene was probably the best scene for me, is when Wolverine was basically like, I see you, and like, but to me, when they were in that car and Wolverine started talking, no, it's not even the scene. It's not even the scene, except for when basically Deadpool just says, yo, I'm gonna have to fight you now.
Yeah.
Right? When he was basically like, you're gone too far, so now I'm gonna have to fight you. And I was like, that one line to me was chef's kiss.
I love that scene so much because it teeters on the edge of both super hyper violent, but also very sexual. There's some sexual stuff going on with those two. Like,
oh, absolutely.
They're working out their shit on each other, knowing that everything they do will actually do no real meaningful harm, like in the long run. And they're using that to work each other out And yeah, there's something going on
Conversation.
there
Mhm.
It's weird.
that makes me think, well, yeah, we already established that he's down with Morph, so and we know Deadpool's Pan, so yeah, they're gonna let you infer why he was tied up at the very end of that scene, and
Exactly.
you can do whatever you want with it. It works either
Exactly.
way. It's violent, it's sexy, whichever one you want. No, and also that's the exact make and model of my car. So I just extra loved it because apparently the Honda Odyssey bucks hard, So,
Hard.
yeah.
Hey, also, and I don't know whether or not you're going to use this as the smooth transition or not, but I had no idea. I had no idea that Blade was going to be in that movie. Like Wesley Snipes was going to be in that movie. And so I'm in the theater, and I'd say right after the "oh shit, it's Johnny Storm" moment that happened in that movie that just
Yeah.
blew my mind. Okay, just blew my mind because I just knew it was Captain America. Right? I just knew it was. Okay. Is when Blade walked out and it was Wesley Snipes. I oh my god.
For
Let's
me,
go. Let's go. Let's go.
it's the 1-2 punch. It's the 1-2 punch of Blade as Wesley Snipes and Channing Tatum as Gambit.
I
Like
think the
Yes.
yeah.
was that?
What is
Like,
happening? What is happening?
I felt bad for Elektra because like I just couldn't
You're like,
be
you're cool.
impressed. I couldn't be impressed by that,
Yeah.
especially after the two that followed, right? Like that was the sickest 1-2 punch I've ever seen in a movie.
The Channing Tatum to me is like the debt was paid after they wheeled it out. They wheeled his ass out at a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Put a title card on him, and then nothing happened.
Yeah.
But the Blade, I think they were just both an excellent, like those two, and honestly, Elektra also are just really showing you how their fingers on the pulse of understanding the characters that were done dirty, that were done dirty and deserve better.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Yeah.
we talked about how much Jennifer Garner carries that first Daredevil movie. She carries it so hard. And then so hard that they gave that woman a second movie. And you know what? It's not the greatest movie ever, but she carried that movie again. So like I felt like, yeah, that's really cool to recognize that on that end of the Fox Marvel movies, she needs her love. But then also we wouldn't have these movies if it wasn't for goddamn Blade. You know what I mean? Like that's I'd say that so often. Like that's why I love that movie so much, is because you watch that movie and you see the beginning of everything happening when you see that movie, and then so like that's two boxes checked. And then with Channing Tatum, it's that story that almost was the worst case scenario of Deadpool, right? Which is like somehow Ryan Reynolds saved Deadpool, even though it should have never existed after Wolverine Origins.
Exactly.
Or X-Men Origins. But same here. Like Ryan Reynolds said, no, you know what? This Gambit gets a chance. Before whatever else happens, he gets a chance. So yes.
How meta is that? How meta is all of that?
It's the most
and that's
meta.
Exactly why that's right. And that's why it belongs in that movie, and it fits like a hand in glove. Like, you know what? I think I gave this movie a 9.5, but you know what? I think it deserves a 10 from me.
Ooh.
It does.
Nice.
It does.
I don't know why I still like Deadpool 2 more. I still like Deadpool 2 more.
Wow.
I think this is a very extravagant dessert in this movie, and it's sweet and delicious, but I don't want to have it again.
You know my thing, like I love Colossus so much more than I love Wolverine. And to me, the Deadpool one brought a tear to my eye when I saw Colossus done so perfectly. He's just like he's like a really great X-Man, like he's a very underrated one sometimes. Like, and I fell in love with those Deadpool movies because I got a Colossus. And so I couldn't help but feel just slightly like I really like your explanation of it, by the way. It gives me hope. Yes, we're getting reassurance that I'm gonna get more Colossus. But I'm also gonna be
Yeah.
like 80 the next no, I mean, there's so many of these movies, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't I I don't want to find out if Q outlives me. Like I don't want to know. Like these movies take a little while to happen. So
Isn't
I'm
it
just
isn't it great that we can actually say that? Like
yes, we
like
are
we
in a
have a bona fide genre, baby.
we are in
Straight
a
up.
very
The golden
amazing
age.
part of yeah, it's kind of like when comics, like when Marvel, like when the Silver Age happened in the 60s, right? Like it just became this
Yeah.
boom, and next thing you know, like it was on the news all the time. Like it was like people were interviewing Stanley, and like people wanted to understand what is this thing that everybody loves. Like it's so fun to see that blown up, but to a scale like we never imagined would happen. So
I
I
know.
love
I mean,
yeah, I love that
it's
movies
it's like
are
Image. It's like Image, like that whole age, that whole 90s Image where, comics came out and they just blew up, just, and you saw all these crazy imprints start happening and so on and so forth, right? I really think that's where we are because you look at like superheroes being like a bona fide genre, where major networks have superhero shows. You know what I'm saying? Amazon's got
yeah.
superhero shows. Like everyone's got them, and so it's like this embarrassment of riches now. Like you're getting fantasy, sci-fi, superhero.
The new Western,
Like,
man.
god damn. It's
Yeah.
let's go. Let's go.
It's probably why we have this show.
I'm sure it is.
That's why we have all these
Oh,
listeners.
Mm. What's happening?
that could almost be a segue. It could almost be a segue. But yeah, thank you for anybody who's tuning in to watch us. This is what you're going to get for another like 45 minutes is just us gushing over Marvel and all the stuff that, have come from Blade all the way to Deadpool and Wolverine. That's pretty much.
There's to kind of pivot to the news. I guess there's some environmental Blake Lively drama going on this week.
You
But
want to do the news?
What?
That's aside the
You wanna-
fact, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do the news.
Okay.
All right.
Are you not clicking the button? Is that what you're saying? It's a mode switch. See, now we're in news mode. Now we're
I
ready
was
to go.
feeling it.
We're ready to receive.
Before Dennis, before we started the show, Dennis asked me, "Had you seen the new Craven the Hunter trailer?" And I'm like, "No, Dennis, I haven't. I didn't know you were so excited for this movie." But what do you think, Dennis? Let me hear your thoughts on the Craven the Hunter trailer that dropped this week.
I'm a little thrown off by your weird pitch to me there. It was you who asked me if I'd ever seen that movie, and so I watched it while we were waiting. And you probably sat there watching my face not make positive reactions to this trailer. Burn it with fire is what I say to this trailer. Now, I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care about this trailer. Like,
do you care more or less about this than Madam Web? Where does this scale?
You know what? I was actually kind of excited to see Madam Web because I knew it was going to be a train wreck. And I was so thoroughly entertained by how bad Madam Web is. I think the problem with this movie is it doesn't look terrible. It just looks meaningless. It doesn't I don't feel anything from this movie. I feel no emotion, no joy, nothing. And that's why I hate it. I think sometimes I can hate something for just being mediocre. And I just don't. Do I like Aaron Taylor Johnson? Yes. In general, I think he's a great actor. And he's probably going to work his butt off to try and make you believe that Sony has an idea of what's happening here in creating a universe. But yeah, I don't care. It's him versus a rhino guy. That you take characters out of context and it ruins them. I just feel like a broken record every time we see one of these movies. It's like the reason Craven is cool is because Spider-Man. That's why, I don't the Madam Web and all of those characters are derivative of Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah,
you
but
take
he
the
cost so much
Spider-Man out of it,
money.
it's weird. Yeah, I'm sure it costs a lot of money, but I don't know. Figure out a way. Figure out a way. It's just weird.
Well,
It's weird. Do
they'll
a different
figure out a
Spider-Man.
way.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be Tom Holland. Do a different one. It's cool. That's me. Travis, what do you think of that trailer? Have you seen that trailer?
I have seen that trailer. And I sort of walked away going, I guess.
Yeah, right.
You know,
I don't
like,
I'm down to
I-
and the
clown.
thing
I'm
about
down-
it is,
it's
well, see, here's the thing though, like the Sony or the Spider-Verse outside of Miles Morales,
Mhm.
you don't care. Like you don't. Like, I didn't see Madam Web. It's on Netflix. I was
But-
still like, nah, I'll pass, right? Like, you're just conditioned not to give a shit, about
Mhm.
anything outside of those Spider-Man movies, right? And so
But
yeah,
it's
so
because
I
they're
can
both
see
held
where,
together by a character named Spider-Man. It doesn't matter if
yes,
it's Miles or Peter. You need to have a Spider-Man in
right,
your
Like,
Spider-Man
we gotta
movie.
remember
right.
we're all isolated
But my
in
whole
this like
point,
nerd. We're in a nerd bubble. We care, but the normies don't care, do they? I don't think
okay,
they do.
all right. Now that's an interesting perspective. That's an interesting perspective because basically you're saying, does can you make Commando in 2024? Is basically what you're saying, right? Like,
Mhm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger comes out, slices people up, chop somebody's arms off, and beat it with a bloody end, and tell them to shut up. That's him, and it's macho. That's how Schwarzenegger came up. Making these dumbass action movies where he's just capping people the entire time. So in that vein, and if you just judge this trailer sort of based on that, he's a tough dude going around, he's punching wild ass motherfucking rhinos. Okay, I'm down to clown.
But
Yeah, why
isn't
not?
that weird?
Right.
Isn't that weird that they're not
Yeah,
trying to make
yes,
it for the people that
Yes.
care?
All your mom cares is, oh,
Yes.
Russell Crowe's in this movie. I like Russell Crowe. That's the Gladiator guy. Okay, Craven, I'm
That's
down.
Like-
he is exactly right.
That's all they need.
And here's the thing, like every time we talk about these things, it makes me sound like I don't like the characters. Wrong.
No, that's not true.
I love Craven the Hunter.
And that's why you're mad.
That's why I'm mad.
Ariana DeBose,
Yeah.
that's the girl from West Side Story. I like that movie. Oh,
Because
she's
when
in
Spider-Man and what's the name of the series where Spider-Man
Craven's Last Hunt.
yeah.
yeah. Like, you were like, dude, he's gonna smoke you. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And it was like some real fear. You know what I'm saying? It's not no.
It's
No.
that's what I've been saying is
Meh.
like you take the context out of these characters and they don't work the same. They don't work. You know what I mean? Like it feels like you're getting, when like Pacific Rim came out and then straight to video there was Atlantic Rim, which is like some, somebody not related to the production company of Pacific Rim just went and cranked out a movie that is like tangentially or not even, like it runs parallel, but in the worst ways ever. It feels like when we get these Sony movies, like it's like, God, there's an alternate reality where this is the correct thing. You know what I mean? Like, because I know that because I watch the MCU and more often than not, they're the correct thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we can bitch and moan because on the scale of awesomeness, some are way lower than others. But like, let's make no mistake, every time we bitch and moan, we are coming from a place of super entitlement because we are quite blessed with great quality movies such as Deadpool and Wolverine, or Spider-Man No Way Home, or all these movies that say, look, we don't just understand your love of the character, we understand your love of the entire comic book,
medium.
and so
Yeah.
and so it's so bad when you watch Madam Web or you watch Morbius. Like, I love that you love Morbius.
I'll say in hindsight, Morbius is the only one of these movies to reference fucking Spider-Man. They did the minimal
no.
work.
No. What are you talking about? Peter Parker is born in Madam Web. He's
They don't say his name.
Oh, well, I don't care that they say his name. I just want him to be like important to the story, and he's not been important to the story so far. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like, it
just
doesn't-
imagine they'll never do that movie though. They'll never do a Spider-Man
versus the
Craven
Sinister
movie.
Six.
No, like a Craven movie.
Oh.
They just and do it right. They just won't. They won't.
Probably not.
No, because to do it right, that's a rated R movie.
Well, Craven's rated R movie.
And Spider-Man, and well, I know, but not with Spider-Man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want that. I want that rated
Of course,
R
that's
movie.
what. Yeah, you do. But you're not going to get it. We're not going to get that. We don't get to have that nice thing.
No, we don't get to have that. What we do get to have coming in about 3 years to Disney's California Adventure, Stark Flight Lab, a brand new Iron Man ride coming to California Adventure. The news with this guy, they actually did get RDJ to come back to do some intro, outro videos for this ride. I'm sure that's tacked on to the bajillion dollars he's getting to play Doom again. So
I'm
with it.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing.
I'm so down.
Here's the thing. Like, I'm not trying to even hate on Robert Downey Jr. for doing whatever he does with them. Like, I got nothing against Robert Downey Jr. I think he's amazing, and I think he has proven that, like,
but
he is meant to be in the MCU. They are the place that takes care of him better than anyone else. They are the ones that took him from being a joke, of an actor, to being like Robert Downey Jr. Man, this is like, and it's awesome. And when he left Marvel, he went and did serious acting, and I feel bad for him because, like, he got nominated for Oppenheimer, but he's went on a lot of interviews saying, it's really weird because I feel like some of my best work was in the Marvel movies, but people just didn't see it, and like,
dude, he won his
no. I'm just saying, like, I
cry on his money.
Like,
no.
I'm so good of an actor.
I'm not saying that, like, I'm sitting at home crying over Robert Downey, but I understand him in that moment because I do think about how much that man entertained us since 2008. He has been a joy to watch, and he's the reason that we're still here invested in this universe because he gave it to us, and so I'm not surprised that him, like, finally, getting a taste of the real world again and being like, nah, I think I like the bags of money and the way that Disney treats me, and so I'm just gonna hang out there, like, it's, dude, come on.
Why not?
Yeah.
Travis,
I ain't mad at him.
Travis, you missed some things, but I just want to double check. It's an interjection, but it's kind of related. Did you know that Jack Nicholson gets paid 11% for every Batman movie on the back end? That's the contract he negotiated to get him to be in 1988.
What? Everyone?
Every Batman movie ever. 11% on the back end.
Animated too?
That's
crazy. Right? And Batman is so profitable that every time
it is Warner Brothers' number one IP.
I know, but I'm saying every time they are getting ready to make another one, some lawyer is like, okay, so how much do we need to make on this? Because Jack's going to get 11%.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably like, shit, we need the Superman thing to work out.
That's crazy.
We got to put him on ice for a few years. Because
that's why,
secret, right?
That's why that guy just sits there at Lakers games every freaking day.
Oh my God, I wonder if that's it.
And he doesn't have to make movies at all.
Is Batman v Superman a Batman movie? Because I wonder where I would be curious where that contract stopped, because, like, is Justice League a Batman movie?
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think it matters, Ricky. I don't think it matters. Like,
no, it does. Yeah, if I can get a Batman in a movie without having to pay the dude who gets 11%.
Oh, no, I meant, like, as from the perspective of how much money Jack Nicholson has made, I don't think he cares if you sneak one by. But maybe he does.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
knows? You know,
That's why they made Joker too. They're like,
Yeah,
keep that
no,
Batman
I mean
fucker
that
out of
makes
here.
all of that sense. So, like, fuck this dude.
Get the fuck out of here, Batman. Fuck out of here,
Shit,
man.
Batgirl, sign me up.
What the fuck? That's generational wealth.
I know.
Because I'm
Yeah,
sure that goes
no,
to his estate
that's
if he dies.
that's multi-generational wealth.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that shit
That's
becomes public
crazy.
domain.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I learned that at Comic-Con and I was like, what the hell? Like it's a crazy story.
Well,
If you've never watched The Toys That Made Us on Netflix, it's like a docu-series.
Yeah, of course.
The new season's coming out, the season that talks about superhero toys. That's where they discovered that fun nugget about Jack Nicholson. And so you always get weird fun facts while you watch that show. So check it out when it comes out.
Yeah,
That's
love
a
it.
plug.
Yeah.
That's a plug. I hope Netflix is watching. Anyways, you can move back on with your news.
no, we got one little bit of news. This comes as we are in the weeks out from Deadpool versus Wolverine. Some of the concept art's getting out there as they kind of prep for the art book that inevitably comes out after these types of movies.
Mhm.
But this image has been going around of what would have been the final fight scene had things gone differently. And just take a look at who's all in here. So we have our boy Johnny Storm in the corner, Elektra in the
Daredevil.
back. But yeah, we have a Ben Affleck Daredevil front and center, and what appears to be Nick Cage Ghost Rider all the way in the back. So who
Yeah.
knows?
I mean, we were pretty close to watching the Ghost Rider movies just in case. So, but I see that it could be a matter of just hey, art department, draw a picture of Deadpool's fighting every character that's
Every obscure character you can think of.
that's gettable, that's had a movie. You know what I mean? I did like that they made those Punisher references. You know, like they've had a lot of Punishers. You know, like and Blade used the bazooka from the one from 1984, I think, or something like that. Yeah, it's cute. I'm fine with what we got. It's a nice little X-Force part 2. You know, it's a good group, but this group survives presumably. I don't know if you've seen in the post credits trailer, if you look closely in the monitor, there's one monitor that's watching Channing Tatum's Gambit walk away from the camera. So I think the implication is because you see Laura at the dinner table, the TVA probably went and saved the other ones as well. So they'll be back when Secret Wars is ready to go in 20 years or whatever. When does that movie come out?
Like 6 years or 2 years actually, 2026.
No, like 2 years.
Dude.
Yeah, it'll be really awkward when Halle Berry has to interact with Wesley Snipes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember when I watched Iron Man 1 and at the end we see Nick Fury and he blah 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 Avengers, blows your mind, and I looked at my friend Vince and I said, oh my god, like that means like we're gonna be 40 when the Infinity War happens or something like that. You know, like it was, how old are we gonna be when we've been given all the things that we want out of this?
Never.
We're gonna be 120 and be like on life support still watching these things. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Let's do it.
Till you're 90. It's till we're 90, dude.
Absolutely. God willing.
Anyways,
let's talk about Blade.
No choice. Oh yeah. Okay.
No,
let's go.
I thought you were going to throw us in there.
I wanted to see what you were going to say. 1998's Blade, starring Wesley Snipes, directed by, was it Stephen Norrington, I believe?
Yeah, Stephen Norrington.
And written by David S. Goyer. I would give this guy all the flowers in the world, but he also did write and direct Blade Trinity, which is what we'll be talking about next week, ladies and gentlemen. But that one's a stinker, man. So like, I think, I think some people are really well suited when they have a limited amount of creative control and some are just meant for having all of it. You know, like Zack Snyder is one of those people where it's like, let that guy direct. Let that guy direct. He can cook, but don't let him write.
He
Don't
did the
let him
Dark
write.
Knight, right?
Word. Don't even let him put a comma in the script. I don't want to see it.
Yes.
Get out of here,
But-
Zach, what you're writing.
But inversely, David Goyer, let him write all day. That guy's got writing
Get
credits
out
on
of
the
there.
X-Men
Yeah,
movies.
get from behind there.
Yeah, he's got. He did the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
He did both Blade 1 and 2. It's just unfortunately they couldn't. They're like, yeah, here you can direct Blade 3, and it's
But you can't.
it's rough.
Yeah,
but
you can't. It was.
He
But you
wrote the
give- you-
Hasselhoff, Nick Fury.
Oof, yeah, see, it's. I mean, they're not all gems. They're not all winners. All right, but he's given us a lot. He's given us a lot, and this guy will forever have
Yeah.
my gratitude for giving us the Dark Knight trilogy and freaking Blade. And so,
Yes.
you know, I can forgive so much because Blade is just Blade.
So can I tell you like my Blade story?
Do it.
So I'm living in New York, and you know, we're
So
downtown.
help me if you got attacked by a vampire.
No, but now this is important also. Before I made video games, I made pen and paper RPGs, and one of the RPGs that I helped make that is very famous is an RPG called Vampire the Masquerade. So I was one of the creators, and so I'm very particular about my vampires, right? Like
Just like you are about your werewolves.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, for real. And so for me, vampires and the depiction of them like correctly is a big thing for me. So to be honest, I didn't know a whole lot about like this movie, like other than the trailer that I had saw, and I was like, I need to go see this movie. So me and my lady were downtown, Times Square, and the line is around it's a Star Wars line, right? And I'm like, what in the hell, right? And I look, and it is mostly Black people, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I have never seen this before. And so we get in, and there's energy in this place. Okay. Everyone's like lining up, everyone's like waiting to see it go down, even in line getting concessions, everyone was like excited, you know what I'm saying? And so that movie started.
It's perfection when it starts.
It's
perfection.
Oh my God. And here's the thing. For me, the craziest part of that opening is when Blade gets there, okay, and they know it's him.
Yeah.
And he takes one step forward, and all of those motherfuckers step back.
Such amazing visual storytelling to tell without saying anything.
And watch this, because I think I'm mostly correct here. Okay. What I really like sometimes about martial arts is like how perfect the movements are. Okay. Watch this movie. In that scene, every time Blade reaches out, somebody dies. It's incredible.
Oh, that man is super efficient with his killing.
Yeah, every time, and I was just like, yo. And so let me tell you, when that scene happened in that theater with all those Black people, oh my God, it was out of control. It was like watching Jordan or something like that, a highlight reel. That was just crazy. And let me tell you, I like throughout the whole movie, and we can talk about that, but I just never felt like so goddamn seen.
Yeah.
Before Blade.
There was so many firsts for me for Blade, but I think one of the coolest things about watching him as a character is he's so in his own world, and he pulls you into his world. Like he doesn't like you don't ever look at him and be like, nah, that's dumb, or you know what I mean. Like he's like he's every movement he does, every line he delivers, everything about him in this movie is so
Crisp,
pristine
crisp,
that,
crisp.
like
Yeah.
you are drawn into it, and you're just like, okay, hold on, let me see if I can catch up. What's going on? Okay, so I think your mom got bit by a vampire. All right, I get that. So you're different. He invites you to learn about him while he just does his thing and enjoys it. And he's like smiling. Sometimes he's laughing. He fist pumps at one point because he's just enjoying murdering vampires, dude. That's all he wants to do the whole movie.
So let's for a second unpack this, right? Because what you have is you have an athlete, right? Like a badass martial artist, like cinematically, okay, and then you cross that with a damn good actor,
Mhm.
a damn good actor, right? And you basically told him, yo, put all your athleticism and all your acting together and sell me on this vampire
Mhm.
hunter. And he said, hold my beer. Hold my
Yeah.
beer.
My
He never stops.
I definitely
No.
I watched this movie as a kid. I don't remember any of it except for that vampire with the light. That's the only thing I remember.
Pearl.
Pearl. So watching this was definitely a real treat. I think it definitely does hold up. But
It really does.
With the exception of the CG at the end. We all know the
CG
CG is bad.
Where
Yeah.
my mind
Yeah.
went though with this movie about halfway through is, did they ever explain why vampires are bad? Like, is there an I Am Legend situation going on? Because Blade's like kind of indiscriminately killing a lot of vampires.
They visually explain it to you by watching them lure people to clubs and then attempt to eat them.
That's not like all
Yeah,
vampires.
how much?
I,
That's not-
I think this is a therapy session for another time to
Some
keep it
vampire
That's not all
apologists.
vampire.
Shit, get
But
out of
I'm
I
here.
think,
saying he's
yeah,
just.
I think
What's
let's
going
go
on
on
here?
let's go on the
There's a
record
whole
as just
book
saying-
about this thing. I'm curious. Is that ever a story that's come up in Blade in the comics?
Yes, when he encounters Morbius, he has to be like, because Morbius is like a hero, kind of, like
Mhm.
sometimes, and he has to be
Okay.
like, all right, so maybe I don't kill all of them, you know what? But that's actually in that's the second one too, right? The second one, he falls in love with a vampire, and they're helping him hunt down the people with the virus and stuff, and he falls in love with one, and so there can be good ones, but like for the sake of the first movie about Blade the Vampire Hunter, it's okay that they're all bad. They're just all bad. That's like Arnold, yeah, but they were all bad.
Yeah.
That's it. You're okay. You don't have to
Okay.
feel bad.
Yeah, don't
for
try
the
to
vampire.
Death Star this whole thing. Yeah, don't do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Death Star.
you have to
Death
kill
Star.
all the ones that
It's
Clip
okay.
Blade.
Nah,
You're having a good
if you were
time.
there, if you were there on the Death Star, I don't care.
I think
Get
most
some.
great. I'll say this. I think most great vampire movies do a
Your
very
Honor.
excellent an excellent job of setting the tone within the first few minutes.
Mhm.
And this one is no exception. I think this is a great vampire movie because it says, hey, look, in this one, only this guy that is a weird circumstance is cool. Because we're gonna show you a club fully torture this guy before eating him. And then it's kind of assumed, yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Mhm.
This guy in the black trench coat, he's the guy that you want to root for. He's gonna murder all the bad vampires. And that's fine.
Straight up.
Is this Blade
Because
look the trench
anybody can
coat?
get it.
Yeah. What was that?
The Blade look in this movie, the trench coat, the weapons, the glaive, are all those unique to this Blade and then influence Blade moving forward, or has Blade always had this kind of look to him?
He didn't always look
Well,
I mean, he just never looked that good. How about that?
yeah,
Okay.
Let's say
yeah,
that.
he wasn't.
He
Yeah,
never
yeah,
he never looked that good. Like I think that's the safest way to talk about this is just like sometimes characters are so or actors are so transcendent in a role that it makes you want to be like, I don't know if I want to go
Like
read the
he's the
old Blade
original
stuff.
RDJ. What
Yes,
RDJ is to the Iron Man
yes,
is what Blade
exactly.
Wesley is the Blade.
yes.
In every way, so much so that Kevin Feige has said, on these press tours that he often looks as Blade as his inspiration, that they could build an MCU around lesser known characters. You know what I mean? Like
Yep,
Blade for
yep.
him is like the only one of the Marvel franchise movies that he didn't uh, have a hand in at all. But it
Mhm.
serves as the milestone for everything else, and it's because he was so perfect in that role, like that you don't even question. I don't even want to know what comic book Blade was like. Oh wait, he's British? That's dumb. No, he's Wesley Snipes now. You know what I mean? Like
Thank
sometimes
you.
that
Yeah.
happens. Like sometimes
Yeah.
that happens, and you gotta just be cool with it. You know what I mean? Like that's the best version of Blade, and that's why he knows that, and he says it in the in Deadpool and Wolverine. It's like there's only ever been one Blade.
Blade.
There only ever will be one Blade. Like, yeah, man, that's a meta thing to say, but it's true. It's true.
So
I
it's
do
true so
not.
far.
I do not envy Mahershala. I don't. I love
Me
Mahershala.
either.
I
I
truly
mean, he's
do.
in the best hands to succeed, though.
I mean, really? Has he? His movie's been delayed 8 million times.
No, but I mean,
Well, it's
you
not
got
to me.
Oscar winner Mahershala. You're playing with the MCU, playing with Kevin. You
Yeah,
know,
but see, here's the thing. Like you're up against one of the best action stars that has ever graced the screen, right?
Exactly.
And no matter what, like that's like when people say, "Nah, man, Christopher Reeve." Nah, man, Christopher Reeve, right? Because
Like, yeah,
it's that level, right? And
I
and
think
and so he has to be an athlete, like
I think
which
I
I've
saw the
never
Green
seen.
Book. He had some crazy fight scenes in that movie.
I think what we failed to hype to you, Ricky, because
Mhm.
it's before your time, is that I'm pretty sure Travis and I independently were going to the theater often to watch Wesley Snipes movies before Blade ever came
Wesley
out.
Snipes is not a known
Yes,
quantity to
sir.
me outside of Blade.
Exactly.
Like,
And
wow, wow.
but that's he's young. He's young.
I've
But
not
here's the
seen
thing.
Demolition Man.
See, that's
I've
not
not
even a good one.
seen
That's not even a
That's
good
not,
one.
yeah.
uh,
That's the funny part is you said
what's
Demolition Man, and I was like, that's not even like in the top 10 that I was
what's
like.
No,
the drag one,
Yeah,
right?
Tu Wong Fu's
Uh,
a good
Kung
one.
Fu.
That's a good one.
yeah, I only know him as Blade, and then after, so I
So
definitely
so
remember 2
so
and
do
3
yourself
more.
a favor. Do yourself a favor. Okay, watch New Jack City
New
New
Jack
Jack City.
City and White Man Can't Jump, dude.
and White Man Can't Jump.
White Man
That
Can't
one just
Jump.
came out with Jack Harlow.
No to that one.
You know what?
No.
You know what?
No. I can't believe they remade that movie. That movie
Ugh.
is
Like
one
no
of the
one who
greatest
asked for that.
comedy duos.
Who
That
asked
you
for
know
that?
what?
Yeah,
That comedy duo is so good that somehow they broke it when they did Money Train. I was like, what are you doing?
right.
Just
Exactly.
the one movie. Just it's good.
Yeah,
It's perfect. Yeah.
yeah.
But you don't get it. Like
New
always
Jack
bet on black,
City,
man.
dude.
Like
Passenger 57,
Passenger
baby.
57. Like there's so many good movies that we watched as kids where we're just like, man, this Wesley Snipes guy is badass. And so then when
Yeah.
you get to see the trailer for Blade, I'm like, wait, is that what I think it is? Is that what I think it is? Is that
Blade's it, right? Like he hasn't really done anything since Blade.
What?
I mean he went to jail
Yeah,
for a long
yeah.
time,
Well,
bro.
yeah, yes, he went to jail, but he's been out of jail for a while
Okay.
now too.
No, that's not true. Like that's not true. Like
He hasn't been in things you're watching,
make
but
me
to be fair, he's not doing the same kind of movie that we were enjoying back then before. So, but I'm just trying to set the stage for you that, like, for Travis and I, that was like a really cool thing that they got Wesley Snipes to be Blade. You know what I mean? Like, but it also kind of made sense because you're like, oh,
he was in Coming
yeah.
to America. Yeah,
Yes.
I did watch that, so I do lie.
Oh yeah, he isn't Coming to America. Yeah, that's right. So I'm just saying, like Wesley Snipes was a big get from the perspective of like, okay, I never even knew I wanted a Blade movie, but if you're gonna do a Blade movie, man, I can't really think of somebody that would be better than this. And so he exceeded like every expectation I would have had of him because he was just that transcendent. And I think it does say something that you of your generation only know Wesley Snipes from Blade, because that performance is that strong that everybody knows who Blade is. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, and that's not even to take away from like, you know what? Time has been good to the rest of the characters in that movie. I actually kind of forgive a lot of the characters, like Steven Dorff, like his character Deacon Frost.
Everyone is more than serviceable, for sure.
Everyone is more than serviceable in that movie, and I think it's a very coherent plot. It's been so long since I've seen Blade. I did not realize that Donald Logue is in the whole damn movie. That the vampire sidekick that like Blade keeps almost killing, that guy persists from beginning of the movie. He's there in the party getting serviced by two girls. He's all the way up till the very end. He's at the La Magra blood god like stupid ritual that they're doing. And I was like, how you let a henchman live this long? I'm so confused.
So okay. New Jack City. Watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. And after you and if you want a comedy that he is amazing in, okay, watch Major League. Okay.
Bits of Major League.
Willie Mays Hayes.
God, yes, Major League. He's like the other lead in that movie.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's him and Charlie Sheen are the leads. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That's an excellent
And it's
movie.
hilarious. It's hilarious.
But I do love White Man Can't Jump.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, in Blade, outside of Blade, and I think Whistler, how much of the supporting cast in that movie are actual Marvel beings?
Deacon Frost is a character in the comics.
Is it Whistler?
Whistler was actually created in the cartoon first. The 90s animated cartoon. He was created for that show to kind of help because they had like a Blade episode, you know what I mean? It's actually Blade versus Morbius in that episode. So
I didn't know X-23 started or first appeared in the X-Men and the X-Men show.
Sorry, Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yes. I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she was created as a future story for that first, and then she ended up in other comics. But yeah, no, he's one of those characters where like I don't think it's the supporting cast that is what makes him interesting. And he proves that because like they shuffle him around in every movie, right? And it's not quite I mean, they kept Whistler. I always thought it was weird that like they make it very clear that Whistler died in this movie, but then they're like, we need Whistler back. And I'm like, did he just miss when he tried to kill himself? Is that what happened? Like, I'm confused. Like, but I'm okay with, like, but the problem, whatever the problem is with 2, it doesn't take away what Whistler's function was in this movie. And I think in this movie, it's okay that he dies. You know what I mean? Like he dies in this movie and it serves the plot and it serves, it fuels his rage. And Blade just cranks it up to 11 when he gets the chance. Also because he gets to drink human blood. And so you just have a really cool climax. That's like, yeah, he does. He goes crazy on it. And then he delivers one of the greatest lines that is not a Bladeism, but he says, some motherfuckers always want to ice skate uphill. And I'm like, what did he just say? That's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I've kept it in my heart for the rest of my life. And so to hear it come back to me, all these years later in Deadpool and Wolverine, that was to me
Circle
that
of
was
life.
the best line in the whole movie. I just don't understand. I never knew I needed that, and it's yeah, that's all. Like I have nothing bad to say about Blade, Ricky. I loved
See?
it.
No,
loved it so
I think
much.
it's a fine movie. It really
Fine.
it holds
fine.
up. It holds up in the best of ways. It
Fine.
is.
He
It's
said
dated.
fine.
It's dated. I'm not gonna say, but it's
In the best way. It's dated in the best way.
yeah. I
They
don't
were
think that's a
doing
knock on it.
they were doing bullet time at the same time as the Matrix. They're
Mhm.
See
doing
what I'm
weird
saying?
stuff. Yeah.
But man, Black Leather really had a grip on the '90s. Like
Oh, it did. It bled into the X-Men in 2000s too. Like you
Like,
couldn't. Black Leather
couldn't
was
Yeah.
escape
everything.
it.
Well, Black Leather was really
Everybody
just coming
stunk.
into its own in
Everybody
the
Black
late
Leather
90s.
and rave music was just like the thing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it is. But honestly, what other music do you
And
want to hear to Blade murdering hundreds of vampires?
yeah,
I'll find out
you
soon
don't want to
when
hear
the
country.
Mahershala Blade comes
You
out.
don't want to hear country. That's for damn sure. Like, yeah, I wouldn't change a thing, and that's my problem. That I mean, other than the CG, obviously, I don't understand. Here's the thing: who let George Lucas do a special edition of perfect movies? And why is that person not campaigning to fix Blade? Because goddamn,
See what I
that
mean?
CG needs a touch up.
I did
Why?
read that the ending was changed because they couldn't get the CG right. It was supposed to be he's like a basically all blood,
Monster. Yeah.
like a blood monster,
Ugh.
but the effect wasn't there, so they did what they ended up doing.
But wouldn't you like to see somebody fix it now? Like, wouldn't that
Yeah. Yeah.
that would make that movie like
I mean,
perfect,
who does
right?
that? New Line.
Yeah, but you know
At this
what?
point. Who
Like,
owns
yeah,
Blade?
but if you let George Lucas handle it, it'd be some musical number, with like fat bellies flapping around or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. Who
It
let
would,
him do it?
yeah,
And
it would look good and it'd be bad. That's
maybe
what would
Steven,
it would be like, man, this is the best looking crap that I've ever seen.
but I do got to give credit for the explosions of those blood people. They did make me feel like I was watching a little bit of Big Trouble in Little China,
Yeah.
right? Like it kind of felt like that,
The practicalness of a lot of the effects was something that I do miss. You just unfortunately don't get that in today's day and age.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer, but yeah, no, it's a like I think if you can just like watch this movie in like we were talking about Craven, like if you can watch it independently of anything else, independently of thinking about like what the other two Blade movies are or what this means down the line for anything else or anything before it, just on its own merit, this movie is excellent. And I can't believe I haven't watched it sooner than I don't know I have, but I would watch it again before like my rental runs out, dude. I'll probably watch it tomorrow. It's too good.
Agreed.
Yeah, no notes other than fix the CG. That's it. It would be a 10 of 10, right? It would be
all our
Yeah.
Patreon money. We'll save it up and we'll buy the rights to the first Blade to fix the blood.
I'm curious,
the blood cut.
Before you close the show out, Ricky,
Mhm.
I need to know where would Blade rate if you included it in all the Fox movies that we watched?
Ooh. There's the I don't know what to call it, the sentimental haze that I have with certain movies. And I know you guys like to dunk on them, like the Silver Surfer or like the first Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider. Those were my movies when I was a kid. Like that's just the
Nostalgia
end of
is a
that. It's a
powerful drug,
nostalgia glaze. And I can definitely I love Ang Lee's Hulk for what it is. Because that was my first Hulk movie. And if I had to put it up against there, I still think it cracks the top 5. So Blade is it's good. The beats are there, the violence is there. it doesn't bite off more than it can chew in terms of story or lore. They're not. I know we talked about world building earlier, but they're not trying to like. It's not the vampire war against humanity, even though they're trying to take over the world. It's very much like a very personal Blade story at the end of the day. So I do like the scope that they keep it at, and it's a very well shot, well produced, well edited movie, and on that merit, I can't knock it.
Okay, so fine is in the nicest way.
Yeah, I don't think fine's a bad thing.
I needed a scale. I needed a scale of what fine meant in the way it's the
Yeah.
tone of fine, right? Like we need to understand.
See,
like,
what I would be curious though, like you take a Morbius, right, and you release it 20 years ago. Does our perception of that movie change?
yes, but also it's still bad. It's just bad in different ways. You know what I mean? Like there are layers to the badness of Morbius is the problem. Like bad. Like I would not knock Morbius's special effects in 1990 though. Like 1998, I'd be like, go to you see Morbius? That is a shitty movie, but wow, those special effects are amazing. You know,
a guy from American Psycho can really act.
Yeah, but in 2023 or 22, whatever it was, god damn, that's a shitty movie. And what are those special effects? Like, I don't understand what we're even doing here. Like, that's my problem with that movie, you know? So Travis just he's of the school of if you got nothing nice to say.
Basically.
You don't want to piss off somebody you might have to work with. Yeah. No, it's I can't like, but I'd agree with you, Ricky. I would say in the grand scheme of all Fox movies, and then you throw Blade in there, he's still in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
I as a reminder, Deadpool 1 and 2 are Fox movies, and so is X-Men 2, which is that's still for me, that's still the cream of the crop, that movie. I love it so much. X-Men 1's pretty damn good, but I think Blade is better, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say Blade's a better movie than X2. Or sorry,
No,
X1.
The next one.
Yeah.
Not better than X2.
X2.
Is Blade 2 are any of the Blades better than X2?
No.
No.
X2 is really high on my list. It's so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Travis was there for us with that one, wasn't? Didn't you do that one with us?
I was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. I just wanted to know how it ranked for you. Travis, you got any last things to say about Blade before we get out of here? Oh, and also, by the way, we're doing this live, Travis, so you don't have to worry about our time limit.
Oh, okay. Anything left with Blade? Look, I really think that it was cool to go the extra mile to thank Wesley Snipes for being that dude in Deadpool. And when you go back and you take a look at Blade, you know, the props were owed. Yeah. Absolutely. You know,
he deserved it.
And
he deserved it.
And because what he proved is that you could make a comic book movie, you know, that didn't suck.
And is rated R.
It was one of the highest.
And look how long it took. Right? Look how long it took for everyone to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Deadpool knew.
Yeah, he did.
And that's why Deadpool like is also built on the back of Blade too. You know what I mean? Like he knew that like in order for Deadpool to work as a story, it had to be rated R, and like he wouldn't negotiate on that, right? So like, I don't think Blade even had to negotiate on it. He's just like, you want me to kill vampires? Let's go.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
No one will care if we fuck this up. Like, it's Blade.
Well, it's true, but that's kind of like the perfect situation when no one's looking. That's when you can make something magical, right? Because you dare to try things that like nobody's questioning what you're doing. So let him do it, like, and then eventually you end up with Blade Trinity, where way too many people are cooks in the kitchen, and it just, we've seen it happen time and time again. And so it is sad that like Blade Trinity is the last time we got to see Wesley Snipes be this character. And so, like, to Travis's point, I think it's a very cool thing that Ryan Reynolds and the team, in making that movie, understood that a legacy was owed, like a legacy moment was owed to Blade, and they gave him several in that movie. And so that's why we're doing this, people, because like we're like,
Nice when you get the
yeah,
flowers.
it's great, and I think it's, obviously it's hard for anybody getting out of prison to like go and get work, but it's cool to see that people are saying like, let's not, hey, the guy did his time, and let's be honest, he's an excellent actor, and he's freaking Blade. So, but yeah, that's it. That's all I got for this one. Ricky, you can close this out if you like.
We'll wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. We continue on the other side of the Blade as we wrap up our Blade talk with Blade Trinity. We'll be talking about that. Thank you, Travis, for joining us.
Thank you.
And with that, true believers, enough said.